Well, with Ice Mageddon 2023 coming, thought no better time than to sit around and drink a little bit of whiskey this evening, do a little bit of the comparison. Tonight, I selected Group 5, which is the whiskey side of things. So if you look at kind of groups 1 through 4, it's all your bourbons. 5 through 8 are going to be more whiskey. That could be rye whiskeys or corn or wheat, just different ones. So again, a bourbon is at least 51% corn. So groups 5 through 8, the predominant grain is going to be something other than corn mostly. Now, there's a couple exceptions to that, like as an example, one of these. I'm not really sure on the grains. They don't really publicize it, but anyway, we'll talk a bit about that. So group 5 whiskey, I actually am going to try to be good tonight. This is just a small half-ounce sample. So I'm not actually going to open it up with water. Plus, these are pretty low proof, so I'm not necessarily worried about water and opening it up and proofing it down a little bit. I have them blinded. I did them A, B, and C. Had somebody else pour them, so I don't remember what was what. But I just kind of put these out. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about each of them, and then I'll do some tasting. So Bernaheim whiskey is a product made by Heaven Hill. Bernaheim this is an age statement, so this is a 7-year wheat whiskey. Thing about Bernaheim is you get a lot of wheated bourbons, so it'll still be 51% corn, but it'll be a less amount of wheat, so maybe 15%, 20%, just depends on the mash bill and the distillery. This is a wheat whiskey though, so this is a 51% wheat. The Bernaheim is, I'm trying to think what else. So it's 51% wheat, it's maybe 35 or something like that corn, and then the rest being barley. You'll notice a lot of barleys are 12 or 15%. There's something about that when it comes down to breaking down the content and sugars and flavor profiles. But again, so predominant flavor profile is wheat. So when I drink one that I think will be this, I'm going to expect a lot more of the sweets. So think maybe honeys, lighter sugars typically, maybe even some like lighter fruit sugars like apples and stuff like the apricots, the ones that you find in different flavor profiles. Michter's American whiskey. So kind of the reason why this is not a bourbon and it's a whiskey, one, they don't produce or they don't disclose what their mash bill is. So no clue if it's 51% corn or not. I think they use other grains like oats and some other things. But also they don't use new oak charred barrels. They use whiskey soaked barrels. And so that should give it a little bit more of a unique flavor profile. I will tell you, this has not been something I've drank much of, so I'm not sure that I would even know which one this is. I'm pretty confident I know which one this is just because of it being a wheat-based whiskey. Last but not least is Woodford Reserve malt whiskey. So this was a 90 proof. Michter's is like an 85 proof or 83 proof. So very low proof. You got to be at least 80% to be a bourbon. But or whiskey is typically going to be higher unless they're sugar flavored profiles. But the malt Woodford Reserve is actually a 90 proof. This is a straight malt whiskey, and so this is going to have 51% malt. It's going to have, I think, like 40% corn and then a little bit of rye in there. So you don't get barley. So malt, I had this once before. It was much more in the Scotch line for me, but much sweeter, a lighter, not as smoky. This is going to probably be the lightest proofing one, so that's how I'm going to guess what this one is. And the wheat is just going to, I think, be different for me. I think I should be able to know which ones are what just based on that. But anyway, so I'll kind of go through them. So I'm going to go A, B, and C. So A, nose-wise, this is it's sweeter. I don't get a burn or anything from there. To me, this is just not very complex smelling. Very just kind of basic sweetness to it. Okay, so Definitely can taste kind of the sweeter profile, so that tells me it's probably got corn in it. There's a little bit of spice to it, but not much, so it lingers real quick here. The finish is not extremely long, but it's at least got a good finish to it. I get some chocolates in it. I'm pretty confident I know which one this is. But I'm gonna leave it just a little bit for the next one. Okay, moving on to B. So B on the nose for me is gonna be extremely caramel smelling. This is very creamy. There's no finish to it, so to me, I'm pretty confident I know which one this is. It just from a proof perspective alone. You get a little bit of grains to it, but I'm not getting a lot of flavor profile in this one. And we'll go to C. Oh, yeah, I'm well aware. Okay. This is a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of light sugars, honeys. You just don't get that feel like you would get from like a caramel or a brown sugar. This is much more a light sugar. Okay, so for me personally, actually, I think this is my favorite drink from the group. I'm gonna guess that this is Michter's. Main reason I'm gonna guess it's Michter's is just because it's less proofing. There was nothing on the finish, no real Kentucky hug, as they would say. Very good flavor profile though. That's something I could sit around and have a couple pours of. I feel like I should have a bottle of that at the house just in case other people are coming over, maybe that are not into whiskey but want to explore whiskey. To me, this would be a good one for that. I think it would make a really good old fashioned for just anybody, but also can be drank neat or on the rocks. So that's what I'm going to go with there. Okay, so this is definitely the Woodford Malt. For me, Woodford Malt has much more of a chocolate, kind of darker sugars. And the reason I'm going to say it's Woodford Malt versus the wheat whiskey is I can taste the barley. Yeah, this is good flavor profile for a malted whiskey. I think it's great. I enjoyed it when I had it in the tasting at Woodford. It's kind of what made me want to put it in this. And so if you're looking to explore other options, I think that's a good choice. This has to be the wheat whiskey just because of that. Lighter sugars, things that you would kind of correlate maybe with wheat. So think of a lighter flavor profile. But anyway, hope I'm right. I don't know. But that was kind of my review on group 5. Maybe back later with another group just because those are small pours. Have a good one.